What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we're going to talk about a couple of stories that came out in the news. One completely a tragedy, and the other one full of hope. But both stories are examples of why solidarity is so important and how solidarity can affect change. You hear me talk about solidarity a lot because I find it to be our superpower. And conversely, also the kryptonite of the corporate or overlords who rule us. Now, before I dive in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to drop some comments, ask your questions, share the videos. Let's get the content out there so that we can teach each other and have the conversation. All right. Now, here we go. This was from the Starbucks Workers United Twitter feed. They tweeted out, "The NFLPA sent a letter to Starbucks calling out the company's union busting. Starbucks responded with a condescending letter accusing the NFLPA of not understanding the collective bargaining process." This is DeMaurice Smith's, the executive director of the NFLPA's, response. And they have a video. And I want you to listen to what DeMaurice Smith had to say to Starbucks. And this is an example of solidarity across industries. This is two completely different. I mean, what does the NFL really have to do with Starbucks and the workers and their union movement? Well, the NFL is a union organization. It's unionized. So let's listen to DeMaurice Smith and see what you got to say.
Days ago, we wrote a letter to Starbucks on behalf of the NFL players, and we told them you needed to stop busting unions. You need to stop busting unions because it's un-American, it's unfair, and you're stepping on the necks of the people who built America, workers. And I just want to say one thing before I close, because I want to tell you, you've got the support of the NFL players behind you. But I want to send a little bit of a special message to the Vice President of Communications for Starbucks, because he wrote me back to tell me, a union leader, that I didn't understand what it meant to be engaged in collective bargaining. Well, I'll tell you what, they locked our asses out for 134 days. They stepped on the necks of our workers. They tried to break the back of our union. And I know a little about collective bargaining. I know that it stands for people standing up for what's right and what's fair. So to Mr. A.J. Jones, I know a little bit about collective bargaining. Anytime you want to come down and have a face-to-face meeting with a group of union leaders who know what it means to fight, come on down to D.C. You have the NFL players. We love you when we fight. To go.
Those were powerful words. And did you hear what he was saying about how collective bargaining is fighting for what's right and what's fair? That's all it is. It's having a say in what your working conditions are going to be. And I think that the solidarity displayed, it's going to have an impact. And the more solidarity that's displayed, the more impact it'll have. We need all unions, all of them, including the IBEW and every other union that's out there, to be making statements and out there in force, publicly supporting these organizing workers. Until we have that, we're not going to tilt the scales. And unfortunately, I haven't seen evidence of every union jumping out and saying, yes, we support this movement or that movement or the other. There are some speakers out there like Sarah Nelson, who leads up the flight attendants union, speaking out. And there's been a lot of movement all over the place. But, you know, we need everybody. You know what I mean? And that's the first story about solidarity. Now, here is another story, and this is a tragic story. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Twitch. He's a dancer. He's a DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show, or he was. But I came to be impressed by this young man when I saw the movie Step Up and his character in that movie and how he danced. I didn't really know him from So You Think You Can Dance Like Everybody Else. I knew him from the movie and then from the show on Ellen. But the man's personality and charm was infectious. And I want to read you about his story because today he passed away. He committed suicide today at the age of 40. And it's something that I don't understand, the darkness that someone must feel when they feel so hopeless that they feel like they have to end the story, or they're in so much pain that they feel they have to end the story. I don't understand that despair. God, thankfully, I've never felt that low. I've had days where I felt low, but it's always been something to pick me up. But let me break the story to you, and then we'll talk about why it matters. Ellen DeGeneres, at 9:49 a.m., Ellen DeGeneres just paid tribute to her friend. This is according to TMZ. Stephen Twitch boss writing, "I'm heartbroken. Twitch was pure love and light. He was my family, and I loved him with all of my heart. I will miss him. Please send your love and support to Allison and his beautiful children, Wesley, Maddox, and Zaya." Stephen Twitch boss, the famed DJ on Ellen DeGeneres' talk show, is dead, and TMZ has learned it appears to be a suicide. Law enforcement sources tell us Stephen's wife, Allison Hawker, ran into an LAPD station Tuesday, and she was frantic because she said Stephen had left home without his car, something that was not like him at all. We're told a short time later, around 11:15 a.m., paramedics got a call for a medical emergency at an LA hotel, and they found Stephen there, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Guns make suicide attempts so much more successful. You know what I mean? If someone takes a knife and cuts their wrist, a lot of times they stop themselves before they do too much harm. When they take pills, a lot of times they call for help before it's too late. But with a gun in your hand, there's nothing that stops you. Once you make that decision and you pull that trigger, it's a wrap. And guns just make it so much easier to kill yourself. Holker tells TMZ Stephen lit up the room every time he stepped into it. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light was everything to him. She continues, he was a backbone of our family and the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans. To say he left a legacy would be an understatement, and his positive impact will continue to be felt. I'm certain there won't be a day that goes by that we won't honor his memory. Concluding, Stephen, we love you, we miss you, and I will always save the last dance for you. Stephen started DJing on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2014 and was with her until the show ended in May of 2022. He had become an executive producer on the show in 2020. He really got his big break in showbiz in 2008 when he was the runner-up on So You Think You Can Dance. I never saw that show. He went on to do some acting, landing several roles where he could show off his dance skills. Stephen played Jason in the Step Up movie franchise. There I did see him. He was also in Magic Mike. The last time our photogs got him out and around LA was back in September, and he talked to us about life after Ellen, sounding pretty happy to have more time with his family. Stephen hosted several reality shows like the Reality Dancing Show, which aired on Fox, the Real Dirty Dancing, which aired on Fox earlier this year, and he and Allison teamed up for Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings on Disney+. A statement from Fox Entertainment, 19 Entertainment, and Dick Clark Productions reads, "We will always remember Stephen Twitch Boss for the light and joy he brought into our lives and into the hearts of so many. This tragic, painful loss of such a radiant, inimitable talent and beloved friend is immeasurable beyond words, and we grieve alongside his family, loved ones, and fans. Twitch, we will miss you dearly." Twitch and Allison met on So You Think You Can Dance. They were both competing and got married in 2013. They got 3 kids. Rest in peace, Twitch. Why am I talking about Twitch? Because here you have a person who externally was full of joy, light, love, and laughter. Externally, he projected a lot of joy and happiness, similar to Robin Williams, who projected a lot of joy and happiness, and then wound up tragically taking their lives. We don't know what each other are going through on a day-to-day basis. And when we go to work and we're standing next to our brothers and sisters at work, we don't know the hardships that each other is facing unless we talk to each other. And I'm not just talking about the installation. I mean really talking to each other. But how do you even begin to have enough interest to want to talk to somebody about their life and to care about them genuinely? Well, for me, it begins in knowing that we're part of the same thing. If you're in a union, you're working alongside other union members. You have that core thing in common to begin right off the bat. And then it's very simple, man. You got to ask people how they're doing. How's your day going? How's the family? How's life? Are you having any hardships these days? Is there anything I can help you with as a sibling? Is there anything that I can help you with at work? Is there any problem at the job? Is there a foreman who's too overbearing? Is there a journeyman who's hazing you too hard? We got to really take an interest in each other. And these bonds that form begin to establish a solidarity that we can then draw upon to further everyone's life and the quality of life. But we really have to look out for each other, because if we don't look out for each other, then what's the point of being in a union anyway? We have resources available to us that probably we don't even know about. Like now you can dial 988 when you're having a mental health crisis, or if you know someone that's having a mental health crisis, and you can get in touch with some mental health professionals to help you out. But here at 26, even through our healthcare, you can contact a therapist and have some sessions. We have to do a better job of caring about each other. We can have fun, we can joke around, we can be jovial, we can be pranksters, we can have a good time. But at the end of the day, we have to lead with love. We can't be undercutting each other, stabbing people in the back, being a racist bigot at the job site, painting racist cartoons in the Porta-John. We cannot be those people, because we gotta embrace the collective of the working class, because that's what we are. And that's the only way we'll get to a better quality of life, to where we can have mental health care for everybody, and we can have health care for everybody, and we can have a better quality of life, and we can have a higher floor. Because here in this country, if you fail, the floor is death, essentially. If you don't have the money to pay for your food, and you don't have the money to pay for your shelter, and you don't have the money to pay for your doctor, what's the alternative? It's death. Because if you don't have food, shelter, and health, you're gonna die. But the only way we get those things is if we demand them together. And it starts with caring about each other. No matter what color you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what sexual preference you hold, no matter what background you come from, no matter if you're poor or if you're rich. We gotta start looking at each other as working people. If you work for a living 5 days a week, you are on the same level as any other person that works 5 days a week and has to in order to survive. There's people that just live off of the money that their family has made. Good for them. They don't have to work. The money's self-perpetuating. They don't have to work. That's not a fair system. We need to fix what's going on here. The only way to do that is to stand together.